Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent.
What it do, Yankees universe, KOD Nation, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Thursday, January 5th episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. I think this is the last day out the week that we can say Happy New Year's, right? It's January 5th. Also, it's my mother's birthday, so if you're friends with her on Facebook, make sure you let my mother know happy birthday to Mama Yankees Brew, and also to our guy Halal from Backstage Baseball. Our little buddy from Backstage Baseball, Halal, is turning 13 today. I just want to give a shout out to Halal. It's been awesome working with Halal from Backstage Baseball. Later on, right before the show ends, I will drop Halal's hot takes. But before we get into it, let me shout out to the chat. Anthony Medina is in the chat. Anthony, hey yo, Anthony, what it do, baby? And then, of course, the evil genius behind the plans, Jigga Man Porto. Jigga Man, what it do? But I got a special guest today, guys. I told you about it on the last show. My man Joe from The Shift has blessed us. So let's give Joe a very warm welcome to the Yankees Morning Brew. Joe, what it do, baby?
What's up, brother? How are you, man? I'm excited.
I'm chilling, bro.
Talk
Super
some
excited.
Baseball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stuff. Yes, sir. But before we jump deep into it, right, when it comes to Yankee content, I want to get to know more about you, right? When it comes to you, how you got started on this journey of being a content creator. I think you, if I'm not mistaken, used to play video games on YouTube as well. If you could just let the people know, how'd you get started when as a content creator?
Yeah, man. So really quick, a friend of mine years ago wanted to start a YouTube channel, a gaming channel. So I was like, all right, let's try that. And I became obsessed. So I wanted to learn the algorithm and all that stuff. So I built a channel that has like 3,000 followers on it, which is cool. But about a year or so ago, my wife and my cousin were like, hey, why don't you make a channel about the Yankees? You love the Yankees. It's your passion. Make a channel about the Yankees. So I said, all right, I'll make a channel about the Yankees. So I did, and here we are.
And it seems like it worked out perfectly, bro, because I found you, I would say, right before the season started of last year is when I came across you. And a lot of the content creators that I've had on the show, I've been fans of them. I've been like Derek, NYY Recap, big fan of his. Jason 161 River Ave, big fan of his. Pete Simonetti, NYY News TV, super fan of his. You know, I'm honored that I'm able to even work with him on a regular basis now. That's but it's becoming surreal now that I'm able to call you guys my friends, you know, my counterparts and everything like that. It's just a surreal feeling. But as a Yankee fan, when did your love for the Yankees begin? Like, was there a specific moment when you was a child? Was there a specific game that you went to, or were you watching? When did you become a Yankee fan?
Well, really quick, you mentioned Pete, right? And back in 2018, I think, or 19, I was watching him talking about Machado and Harper and
same.
He got me all hyped up. So he's kind of an inspiration too to start Yankee content. But when I became a Yankee fan, man, I've been a fan since birth. Like, I got to be honest with you. I've been a fan my whole entire life. I remember, I think I was 4. Girardi rounding second base, hitting that triple 96. Like, I mean, you know, I don't know. I've been a fan my whole life, honestly. So, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. Let me just shout out the chat real quick. Jonathan's in the building. Jonathan, what it do? My man G-Man for life. G-Man, I see you, baby. We got Jay in the chat. My man FJ is in the chat. I see you. Li Yankee King is in the chat. Li Yankee King, what it do? But yeah, I kind of the same thing. You know, I was born in the Bronx, raised in Brooklyn, but I was born into a family that 99% of everybody was a Met fan. Right. So I just wanted to be different. Right. Even when it comes to my mom's, her showing me the love of baseball from a young age, taking me to the park, teaching me the rules of the game, watching games when we walk by the park. But even her as a Met fan, not wanting to allow me to root for her team. She's like, no, we're gonna build this rivalry in the household. I'm gonna be a Met fan. You're gonna be a Yankee fan. And that's how it was for me growing up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
my
it worked
mom's
out, right?
Yeah, it worked out. My mom's a rock star. I love her to death. But turning now into the season when it comes to the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
The off season. Let's look into the off season. We got Aaron Judge, which that's a no-brainer. We had to do it. When it comes to the money in the years, how do you feel about the money in the years? Are you happy with it?
Listen, we just needed Judgy, right? I didn't really care. And listen, I know, oh, he might age poorly and all that stuff. Listen. Mechanically, the guy mechanically is just really good, right? As far as a hitter goes, he knows how to play the game. He makes adjustments when he needs to, and that's very important, right? When I'm watching Giancarlo Stanton hit, and I like Stanton, by the way, I really do. I like him a lot. But when I watch him hit, he kind of frustrates me. He doesn't make any changes, but Judge makes changes, and that's why I think this deal won't be as bad as many think, personally. Yeah. And I just love Judge's personality and how humble he is. So, man, I'm all for the 9 years, honestly.
Personally. Yeah, same for me, bro. When it comes to Judge and the length of the contract, I'm not too scared about it because if you think of it, right, Judge 9 years. By the time that 5th year comes around, Giancarlo Stanton, that's when his contract is done, right? So we could easily shift Judge to the full-time DH spot after the first 4 years of his contract. So even if we was to go that route, the first 4 years, he'll be 35 by the time that comes up, right? So by the time he's 35, he'll be a full-time DH. We won't have to worry about him playing in the outfield.
Yeah, but like also too though, Judge is so athletic and he's such a good fielder. Like for me personally, it's like, why are we putting him at DH when he could be fine by 35, by 36. Also, maybe, just maybe, don't shoot me, but maybe he could transition maybe to first base, right? It seems like he has soft hands. He's a good fielder. So, hey, why not? But
he got the big frame, and a lot of major. Mickey Mantle played a few games at first base, so I wouldn't be shocked. So towards the end, Mickey Mantle played a few games at first base.
So, but I'm not too worried about Judgy, man. I'm not worried about him. He's gonna hit 30 home runs by accident.
Yeah, and that's the only person we could say that, like, that walks into 30 home runs.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the rest of the offseason, we signed Carlos Rodon, which I think was a big pickup to fortify that rotation. But what's your thoughts on this little stalemate that's going on right now? Because we were told, or the tea leaves were told, that a big move was on the horizon, right? We don't know what it is. We don't know if it is still coming. But when it comes to a big move being on the horizon, do you still speculate something is in the works? Whether that be Brian Reynolds, I'm hearing now Ian Hatt, which I will be happy with Ian Hatt because Brian Reynolds may cost us so much. But what's your thoughts, bro?
Listen, as far as that goes, dude, I don't know. Like last season, we randomly made the IKF and Donaldson deal. It happened out of nowhere after the lockout, right?
Yeah.
So Reynolds, that's the sexy pick, the sexy name. We want him. But to be completely honest with you, if you're telling me that I have to move a Dominguez for Reynolds or a Peraza for Reynolds, I can't do it. I just can't do it, especially for Dominguez. He started out the year in low A, ended the year in double A, and the 5 games he played in the regular season for the Patriots weren't so good, but in the playoffs, the 5 games he played in the playoffs, 450, 3 dingers, 10 RBIs. You want to trade that away? He's 19.
No,
I can't. I can't move him. I just can't. And Reynolds, negative 14 defensive runs saved last season, a negative 7 outs above average. I mean, the guy, well, I don't know what the heck happened. He was good in the other year in center
21.
field. I don't know what the heck happened, but you know.
When it comes to Brian Reynolds, right, he seems like he's a phenomenal person, human being, and he seems like he's an awesome baseball player.
Yeah.
But if Brian Reynolds was hitting 330 with 30 home runs, yes, I'll trade Jason Dominguez for that. But for somebody who hits 282 last year, 282 over the past 2 years, 261 last year with 27 home runs, I'm not that inclined to trade Jason Dominguez for that. Now, it could just be my fandom and wanting Jason Dominguez to be one of the next superstars in the league. I understand that sometimes your fandom takes control of your brain, but talent is talent. And Jason Dominguez's talent, his floor, like if you look at the ceiling and the floor, his floor is Brian Reynolds. That's where his floor is, right? His ceiling could be way more than that.
Absolutely. His ceiling could be an elite baseball player. Elite. And Dominguez, listen, like I said, he started out the year in low A, ended the year in double A. I mean, at the age of 19 years old, and he missed the year of minor league baseball back in 2020.
When he was 18.
I mean, what are we? I can't move the kid. I can't move him. I just can't.
Yeah.
And Reynolds, I like him. He's good. He obviously, his final 2 months of the season, I believe he had an 840 OPS in August and an 840 OPS in September. So he ended the year strong after having a poor July. But I can't move Dominguez for him or Peraza. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing. Peraza, I love Peraza. I'll be more, I can lean more in trading Peraza than Dominguez, but at the same time, is that something I want to do? No. And with what the rumors have been with the Pirates, right, wanting pitching prospects, right, a haul of pitching prospects, it makes things complicated for the Yankees because that's something we don't have in the pipeline. Like, yes, we have Clayton Beeter, yes, we have Will Warren, but those aren't top 5 prospects in the system.
No. Like, when moving Peraza, though, really, essentially, this guy most likely will be our starting shortstop. So what we're doing this season, we're trading our starting shortstop for a starting outfielder, for a left fielder.
Basically.
Come on. He's such a good defensive shortstop. What are we doing? Reynolds, I like him. I'll move Sweeney for him. I'll move Wells.
Same.
Develop a package around those guys. But like you said, too, pitching, we don't have it. We got Peter for freaking Joey Gallo last season. And if you were to tell me that we could turn Gallo into Reynolds, I'll do it every day, twice on Sunday. But no offense, Peter's not going to do it.
Yeah. No, right? I'm right there with you, baby.
I'm sorry if I'm so hyper. If I just
no, it's all good. Listen, bro, I had some Frosted Flakes in the morning, knowing that I was gonna be on with you because I needed to get that little sugar rush. So I'm good, bro. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome, man.
But what's your take now with these minor signings that Brian Cashman has done when it comes to Willie Calhoun, when it comes to McKinney, when it comes to Rafael Ortega the other day? You did a phenomenal video yesterday about Rafael Ortega. If you guys haven't tuned into the shift, what are you doing? Tune into my man Joe. But yeah, the video you did with Rafael Ortega, we could tap into what he was a couple of seasons ago, especially with the shift gone. This is a guy who doesn't strike out that much. This is a guy who walks a lot and who can put the barrel onto the bat and get a few dingers at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he's a left-handed bat, and 2 years ago he hit 290, 11 dingers, 33 RBIs, OPS 823. I mean, and everybody's saying, "Oh, we want Conforto, we want him." In 2021, the guy had a 720 OPS, 14 home runs in 125 games. Ortega, his stat line is similar or better than Conforto's. Almost 100 points better OPS than Conforto.
And he's a hell of a lot cheaper.
We signed him on to a minor league deal. Listen, he might not even make the team. But if he does, I think he has the potential to be a very good pickup for the Yankees, personally.
Yeah, listen, it could be low risk, high reward, right? It could be lightning in a bottle. That's what Matt Carpenter was for us last year. Matt Carpenter, beautiful, phenomenal player, but he was just lightning in a bottle for us. If we could get any of that from any of these little signings when it comes to a Cole Calhoun or, Rafael Ortega, why not? Why not? And those seems to be the moves that Brian Cashman hits over the moves that like a Josh Donaldson, right? Because we all thought when we traded for Josh Donaldson that he would, well, I shouldn't say we all thought, let me take that back.
Yeah.
We were sold on the idea that Josh Donaldson will help this offense, right? His strikeout numbers, he puts the ball on bat, but when you look at his numbers, he had the most strikeouts since his rookie season. I apologize, New York City traffic got so many blowing horns out there. The most strikeouts since his rookie season, the least home runs he's had in a season since his rookie season. So it's been that right there was a total blunder when it comes to Josh Donaldson.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what the heck happened. The guy fell off. The guy fell. He was so bad up at the plate. Listen, dazzling at third base, but that can only get you so far. 680 OPS for guys making what, 25 million? Come on, I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Honestly, people might think I'm freaking nuts, and that's okay. If Anthony Volpe comes out of the gate, bat out of hell, and Peraza has a good spring, right? And if we keep Gleyber Torres, which isn't a bad thing, I love Gleyber.
Same.
I do. He played a good second base. Right, he had a decent year, 20-something home runs. I think 24 last season. He strong September, just very inconsistent too. But put Volpe or Peraza at third base. Put the other at shortstop. Bada bing, bada boom.
I honestly, I will hold off on trading Gleyber Torres at least for just the first half of the season before we get to the trade deadline. Because when you look at the shift, right? Pun intended, not your channel name. But if you look at the shift being gone, right? Gleyber Torres, how many hits up the middle that Gleyber Torres had that was taken away from him last season? Like, you could easily count at least 10 hits that he hit up the middle that was taken away because of the shift. With that shift gone, Gleyber Torres may benefit tremendously. I know everybody talk about Anthony Rizzo benefiting from the shift being gone, but I really think Gleyber Torres, his batting average, we could see a tick of maybe 10 to 15 points going up in his batting average. And we don't know how DJ LeMahieu is going to respond after these injuries. Yes, he didn't have the surgery, but we still don't know if his foot is just a ticking time bomb ready to go.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't trade Gleyber just yet, personally. Like I said, I like Gleyber. He's 26 years old, man. He's 26. He's still young, and he's proven that he can do it at the major league level. So it's like his prime years, we're not even in them yet. Think about that. That's crazy. So listen, I don't know if the Yankees are going to pay him, but at the same time, he's a very good second baseman, a good hitter, solid hitter. I can't right now.
That's what I don't know, right? If the Yankees are going to be willing to give Gleyber Torres a contract, 6 years, $100+ million. I don't see it. I do see it from another team. I don't see it from the Yankees, but like I said, I will hold off in trading him at least for the first half of the season, right? When we get towards the trade deadline, let's see if we could include Gleyber Torres in the trade to improve our team, whether that be from the pitching aspect or from just the depth aspect, right? We just don't know. But for me personally, going into the season, left field to me is a glaring trouble spot. We need to solidify that position. I love Oswald Cabrera. I love him, but I don't want to stick him in just one position and lose his versatility.
Yeah, dude, he's so important. He's a more athletic Ben Zobrist, right? The kid out there, you could put him anywhere in the field and he's good. Anywhere. It doesn't matter. It could be first base. It could be out. It could be left field. It doesn't matter. The kid's really good. So why would you take away and confine him to left field when you really don't have to do that? So that's why I think I really love the Calhoun signing. I like the Ortega signing. McKinney is okay, former farmhand for us. But I like these small signings. And listen, Cashman, in my opinion, the reason why he hasn't traded for Reynolds is because I personally think he doesn't want to move a Dominguez. And that's probably what it's going to take. Listen, the Martian, he's the Martian for a reason, right? The kid's a freak. So I don't – if I'm going to trade him, there's only 3 players in baseball, probably 3, who I would move him for right now. Acuna, Soto, and Alvarez from the Astros. Mike Trout, big contract. Of course I would, but he's got a big contract. So like, if it's not for any of those guys, no, I don't want to move them. I can't.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. Hold on. I think got like breaking. My man Brad Jewis in the chat, he said the Yankees have added Omar Minaya to the front office. I got to check that out, vet that real quick. Not sure about that. If they did, hey, I'm excited about it. We added Sabian the other day. We got Omar Minaya now in the front office, if that's true. Right. He's right. Breaking news.
Jack Curry, he reported it. Yeah.
Nice. Breaking news with the shift with my man Joe. Appreciate you, Bradley. Pinstripe Chronicles is in the building. Good morning, everyone. Uncle Tats, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is another fine Yankees channel that I love listening to, the Pinstripe Chronicles. But also, too, when it comes to Brian Reynolds, I just have this gut feeling, Joe, that I don't think the Pirates are going to wind up trading him in the offseason. I just have a very weird feeling. I think the Dodgers aren't going to go in with all their pitching prospects because I think the Dodgers are going to save those assets to trade for Shohei Ohtani. I think the Dodgers are going to go hard at getting Shohei Ohtani. The owner of the Angels, they're most likely going to be selling the team. The Dodgers and the Angels, they have that mutual connection when it comes to their TV deal. It's the same parent company for their TV deal. So transferring over the rights to Shohei Ohtani's games from overseas wouldn't be that complicated for them. They don't have to jump into hoops and hurdles for it. And you're keeping him on the West Coast where he said he wants to be, right? So I can see the Dodgers going all in for Shohei Ohtani to make that splash. And I think the Dodgers' involvement in the Brian Reynolds conversation has just been to up the asking price for the Yankees and for anyone else.
Yeah, listen, Ohtani's a freak. I would love to have him. Imagine having him on the Yankees, but that's not likely. That's not likely. If I'm the Angels, I would honestly try and trade him now. Right? If you said Ohtani's available, right, which they wouldn't, but if they said that, hey, Ohtani's available, teams would be coming out of the woodwork and say, hey, here.
Yeah.
We want Ohtani. He would be a perfect fit for the Yankees, but listen, he would cost you a Volpe. He would cost you, and he would cost you a Dominguez. So, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, Joe. When it comes to Ohtani, he's such a phenomenal talent, but at the same time, he's going to have to get paid, right? And when it comes to Ohtani, him getting paid, it's going to be over $500 million. I do not think there's that many organizations in Major League Baseball that can cough up that kind of money for Ohtani. Yeah, you got the Dodgers. Yeah, you got the Mets with Uncle Stevie. The Yankees maybe. Boston, I don't know, because they've been they were a little bit cheap with Devers, but they finally got that extension worked out. But when it comes to Ohtani, I just don't see that many teams that if you're going to go all in for Ohtani, you have to understand this. Ohtani is a number one pitcher in your rotation, and he's a 2, 3, or 4 hitter in your lineup. If he goes down with a big-time injury, you're not only missing one player, you're missing a big-time part of your rotation and a big-time part of your lineup. And I'm not sure if that's that many teams out there that want to gamble with that type of risk.
Yeah, I don't blame him, but Ohtani's one special player, man.
Yeah, he is. He is.
What he had a 2.4 ERA. I could be wrong.
No, he had a 2.4 ERA.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
2.4 ERA, damn near 200 strikeouts, almost 200 innings. He was phenomenal. I think 30 fingers. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me just get Ohtani numbers.
Guy.
That's video game numbers. That's literally MLB The Show numbers right there.
It's you're juicing up a player and you're saying,
you put all your sliders up. That's what that is.
All the sliders, attributes maxed out to 99.
100%.
Every single one. Yeah.
But when it comes to this season that's coming up, right? Yeah. Major League Baseball, there's a lot of rule changes that's going to be happening, right? I had the pleasure yesterday of talking with Yankees prospect Andres Chaparro. Jason for 161 River Ave joined me in the conversation. And one of the questions I had for Andres was the fact that in the minor leagues, all these changes are happening when it comes to the rule changes. Was it hard for him to get accustomed to it? And he said at the beginning it was a little bit hard, but now it's like secondhand nature. when it comes to the major league players and the fans, we're going to be seeing this for the first time. How are you feeling about these rule changes that are going to be next year? One thing that Andres did say is that it makes the game a hell of a lot faster when you have that pitch clock out there.
Listen, it'll be interesting, and it'll be obviously a lot different. And it'll take time to adjust, and just like it took time to adjust, or maybe we haven't adjusted to the runner on friggin' second base in extra innings, which I can't stand, by the way. I don't know how you feel about it. I can't stand the guy on second base.
I think they're taking it out this year. I think they're taking it out this year. That's one of the rules that they switched. They're taking it out because they didn't have it in the playoffs. So why have it during the regular season if it's not going to be in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, thank God. But yeah, and the shift too. Like with Kepler, right? If you look at his numbers, and another target, a guy that everybody's saying, "Oh, we don't want Kepler." Which I get it, I understand, but he's good out there too, and he could be good here. But if you take away the shift for Kepler, his average could easily jump 30 to 40 points. The shift took away at least 10 to 13 hits from him, at least. That his average jumps then. And then if you put him at Yankee Stadium, he might add on 5 home runs, 6 home runs, and then what? He becomes a 15, 16, 17 home run hitter. 250, 260 average. That's almost Ian Happ. So a player like Kepler, and listen, he puts the bat in the ball. He doesn't strike out. Yeah. So don't tell me, Joey Gallo and Kepler are the same. No, they're not. Gallo can't even put the bat in the ball. He strikes out most of the time. So they're not the same. Kepler will benefit. Gallo will not, simply because he does not put the stupid bat in the ball. That's why his average is so low. That's why he strikes out all the time. I think he struck out on almost 40% of his at-bats last year, Joey Gallo.
It was 39%, but basically 40% of his at-bats he struck out.
That's wild, man.
That's ridiculous. That's Little League right there. But when Max Kepler, the thing about Max Kepler is that he was supposed to be this big-time prospect for the Twins that never turned out to live up to his potential. Just like Aaron Hicks, big-time prospect with the Twins that never lived up to his potential. But when it comes to Max Kepler, he has a lot of things that you like from a Major League Baseball player. He doesn't strike out as much, right? His walk rate could be a little bit higher, but he doesn't strike out. He puts the barrel on the ball. When it comes to having one out and a runner on third base, last year he was able to get that runner home over 30% of the time. Right. Wow. So he was able to get that runner home from third base over 30% of the time. That right there, that's the reason why I want Max Kepler. How many times do we have runners on second and third and Josh Donaldson struck out, or Aaron Hicks struck out, or Joey Gallo struck out?
They couldn't even against the Stros, man.
Couldn't even get the ball out of the infield. And one thing that Max Kepler does, he doesn't strike out, and when he needs to, he gets that ball out of the infield.
Exactly. And listen, man. If we can't go into next season with just Rodon, right? We're basically going in with the same team, and to top it all off, we struggled against Houston to score runs. We haven't made any changes in the lineup yet. So do we really think that we could go in and beat Houston in a 7-game series? I don't know.
That I'm not too sure. And this is a conversation. I was literally about to say, this is a conversation I was having with my man Pete. And while my News TV is in the building, Pete, what it do, baby? Man, I was literally having this conversation with Pete the other day, talking about the different possibilities that we can have out there in left field. Right. So many different possibilities that we can have out there, as long as we put a team together that if you're counting, if you're the front office, right, and you're counting on the Astros regressing, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job, right? You can't go into the point of an offseason is to improve your team and get better than the team that eliminated you in the postseason, right? Sure. You cannot count. You cannot go into the season counting and hoping that team regresses, because you're not doing your job.
Listen, I just want to say, big fan of Pete, by the way. I don't know if he's watching. Big fan of Pete, inspiration, as I said earlier. So I just want to say that. I hope he hears that. Another thing too, I just saw Blue Gold telling me to knock it off. Listen. If you look at it, you're telling me to cut it out. If you look at it, if Kepler gets 10 more hits and the shift took away 10 hits, do the math. It's 30, 40 points, you jabroni. Do the math. This is why I don't live stream, Hector. This is why I don't do it. Maron, this is why I don't do it.
I apologize, Joe. My fault about that, bro. I ain't mean to get your blood pressure through the roof right there. You got that little vein that's right there. You got that little vein poking.
Yeah.
Nah, but look right here, and I'm here, my friend. God bless you and keep up the great work. 100%. Appreciate you, Pete. You, Pete. But also, I'm sorry, I just had to laugh real quick.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
My man Blue, what it do?
Yeah, this is what I love, man. This is what I love.
But the thing about Yankee fans is that we're all passionate, right? We're all passionate. Sure. We all want the same thing at the end of the day. When it comes down to it, we want to add that extra championship to the trophy. That's what we want to do. When it comes to this team, we got to add an extra left-handed bat in that lineup, because with all the championships we have, all 27 championships, there has not been one championship we won with only one left-handed batter in the lineup. Anthony Rizzo cannot be our only left-handed batter in the lineup.
Dude, I agree. I agree. We need left-handed hitting is so friggin' important. It's so important. And that's why in adding a Reynolds switch hitter, that's why that would be good. But it's just like, listen, I'm not mortgaging everything. Dominguez, I can't do it. I can't do Dominguez. I can't.
It will cost Dominguez. It will cost Peraza. Pereira. It's going to cost so much because, one, the Pirates, they said, according to the reports, they want pitching prospects to come back in return. If the Yankees are going to try to pull something funky off by getting another team involved, trading for their pitching prospects, for our position player prospects, it's going to cost us more prospects. It's going to cost us more. It's not just going to cost us Dominguez. It's going to cost us Dominguez and Peraza, or Dominguez and a Volpe. And I just do not think that Brian Reynolds is that type of player that you trade a Volpe or Peraza or Dominguez for. Austin Wells, I love Austin Wells. He's a phenomenal prospect. I was able to meet him when he played for the Tampa Tarpons. I went there last summer. Awesome guy, beautiful mustache. He's all ready for the Bronx. Ready for the Bronx.
Yeah.
But if we have to trade Austin Wells in order to get Brian Reynolds, copy, I'll do that. But I'm not trading the top three. And now you can even throw Spencer Jones in it. I'm not even trading Spencer Jones because the way that he's shooting through the farm system, Spencer Jones may be knocking on the door by September.
Yeah, dude, I know. That's the thing. It's like, but then we get to a point where it's like, all right, you got to give something up to get something. Then you start having that conversation. But at the same time, Spencer Jones, this guy, we're going to see him sooner than we all think, honestly. We're going to see him very soon. We're going to see all these guys soon. But the thing is, though, what? Now, all of a sudden, Peraza, Volpe, Dominguez, Jones, all on the same team? That's a young squad right there.
Yeah. Somebody got to get traded.
Yeah, that's a young squad. So I don't know about that, but I don't know.
No, but for me, this is what it is, right? And this is a conversation I was having with Pete. When it comes to Brian Cashman, right?
Yeah.
Brian Cashman's legacy is going to play out over these next few years, depending on what happens with these prospects coming up. If these prospects come up and they hit the ground running, if Peraza comes up and is able to win a Gold Glove, if Volpe comes up and he's the next Dustin Pedroia, Dominguez, Spencer Jones, whoever, if they come up and they hit on these prospects, Brian Cashman will look like a genius and will probably go down as a Hall of Fame exec. I'm just being honest. I know a lot of Yankee fans, they have their feelings towards Brian Cashman, but look at it. Over these past 20 years, or ever since he took the job in 1998, the one thing that Brian Cashman hasn't been able to do is to produce from the farm system. Aaron Judge, the only one since 1998 that he hit it on. Cano left, but we found out that he was on PEDs, right? Melky Cabrera went to San Francisco, won a batting title on PEDs, right? Ching-Ming Wong was a phenomenal pitcher for a couple of seasons before that freak injury happened. So when you look at it, the only thing that Brian Cashman hasn't been able to do is produce from the farm system. He's done it with Aaron Judge. So if he's able to do it with these next group of kids, these next crop of kids, I think we have something cooking. I think Brian Cashman will go down as a Hall of Fame exec. Because if you think about it, Aaron Judge signed for 9 seasons, right? Carlos Rodon signed for 6 seasons. Garrett Cole for another 7 seasons. So we got the big money invested into the big ticket items. Now we need those kids to come up that don't cost that much, that cost $1 million here, $700,000 there, and sprinkling them around the big time money.
Yeah, listen. Cashman, I got some mixed feelings, right? Because it's like, all right, if we let him go and we didn't re-sign him, who would we have replaced them with, right? People were saying, oh, Epstein, like, was that really realistic? I'm not entirely sure. So that's why we brought Cashman back. And I totally understand the frustration behind him. But also, too, though, we have to take this into account. The Yankees missed the playoffs, how many times? Once or twice in the past 20-something years?
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah.
I mean, we made the playoffs virtually every single season. So, I don't know. But
if you was a Cincinnati Red fan, you'd take that. If you was a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, you'd take Cincinnati that. Colorado Rockies, you'd take that.
Yeah. I mean, even the Red Sox have missed the postseason a decent amount since in the past 20 years, right?
Yeah. One thing about the Red Sox
every year.
Yeah, but one thing about the Red Sox, they have won the championships like 3 different times.
Three times.
Yeah. That's the one.
So like, what do you get those 3 championships and then miss for like the next 8 years? I don't know.
Well, that's interesting because no, it's cool. No, but it's an interesting conversation because I had Scott Braun from the MLB Network on the show one time, and he brought up that question. He asked the question. He was like, "Would you take the consistency of going to the playoffs every year, missing once or twice over the past 20 years, or would you take what the Red Sox done, missed the playoffs a bunch of 3 or 4 times, but won 3 championships?" Like that. That was the question that Scott Braun asked. Myself, I'm a Yankee fan. I can never say that I want to root for the Red Sox. So I'm going to always go with the Yankees and whatever they did.
Yeah. I mean, but I do understand that point of view. And like, to be honest, and maybe I take the 3 titles. Those are 3 championships. You know? Those are 3. So like, maybe I'll take the 3 titles. But with the Red Sox, I mean, that's just a different conversation.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk Boston. We're talking.
No, we don't. Listen, Rafael Devers just signed up for a long-term extension. So listen, I'm happy that Devers got his money, right? Because one thing I didn't want to see Rafael Devers end up in Queens, right? There's a lot of rumors next year speculating. Steve Cohen, he has all the money in the world to spend. That's why I want the Carlos Correa deal to go through. That way next offseason, they don't get Manny Machado. Because I could see a very weird scenario, Joe. I could see a very weird scenario if the Carlos Correa thing doesn't work out and they move off for Carlos Correa. Next offseason, I could see a very weird storyline where Manny Machado teams back up with the manager when he was a rookie and Buck Showalter.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That's one storyline I do not want to see happen,
I don't want to see it either. Listen, I would love Manny to play here. I would love it. That would be great. We wouldn't have Donaldson anymore, but that's not realistic either. I don't think it is. I would love Manny. I would love him. But I don't think it's realistic.
Personally, we don't know what will happen next offseason. But one thing I can say as a Yankee fan is that I'm happy Steve Cohen is spending money because now this forces Hal Steinbrenner to spend money. Right? You do not want the baby brothers from Queens to be outspending you and to be winning the back page war. Yeah. Right? When it comes to the Yankees and Mets, when you look at their finances, back in 2009, the last time the Yankees won a championship, Joe, the Yankees were evaluated at $1.9 billion as a team. The Mets were evaluated just a little bit over $900 million, right? The Yankees payroll in 2009 was $113 million, and was $210 million, and the Mets was $113 million, right? A difference of about $95 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but I just want to know what happened between 2009 and 2022, 2023, that the Mets are now valued at 3.8 billion, but they're spending way more than the Yankees. But the Yankees are valued at 6.9 billion and they're spending way less than the Mets. I just want to understand what happened. Where's the philosophy behind that? I understand you can't just spend money to win championships, but what's going on?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Honestly, like it's just this NY. I don't know if you can see it. That's worth a lot. It's worth a lot, right? And the Yankees make a load. Yeah, the Yankees make a load off of it, and it's iconic. So, but the Steinbrenners, with them not spending money and the Mets always spending money, like this offseason at least, it's like it gets talked about a lot. It does. And just Hal Steinbrenner doesn't have that burning passion like his dad. And think about it too. Hal Steinbrenner was brought up, right? This is what he was brought up.
All he knows. Yeah.
So, but it's like he might not be a Yankee fan. He might just see it as a big business where he can make a load of money, and let's try to make a load of money. And unfortunately, that's how he could be looking at it. And that's why you bring back Aaron Judge, because that boy makes you a load of money. And that's why you invest in a Rodon, because you have to do that once in a while, Hal. But we need to improve that freaking lineup. And I would have loved Correa. I would have loved Correa on the Yankees, but Hal ain't opening up that checkbook to do that.
But this is the thing, too, and I hear this from a lot of people, like my man L.I. I love L.I., but he says the Yankees do not have to spend more than the Mets. And I agree with you, L.I. The Yankees do not have to spend more than the Mets. But what I'm asking is I want to understand the thought process, right, of if you're willing to bring in $30 million on the books when you trade for Donaldson, IKF, and Rortback, you're willing to bring in and absorb $30 million for those three players. What is stopping you from just spending an extra $5 million and signing Correa? That's what I want to understand. I don't want it. I don't want the Yankees, if they don't have to spend more money than the Mets or the Dodgers, they don't have to spend more money. I just want to understand the thought process of being willing to soak up $30 million, but not being willing to spend that extra $5 million on a Correa.
Yeah. See, like for me, the only excuse I could gather is maybe the Yankees didn't think that there was a chance that they could sign Correa on a short-term deal last year. Maybe they didn't think that. Maybe they're thinking, okay, $5 million more AAV, but we'd have to sign him to 8, 9, 10 years. So that might be it. But listen, the fact of the matter is this, right? We don't have to outspend everybody. That is true. Totally agree with that. We don't have to do that. But what we do have to do is improve this team. And Hector, please tell me, did we improve this lineup this offseason? Yes or no?
The lineup, no. Lineup, no.
And that was the biggest issue against Houston.
If
I had hair, I'd pull it out.
You could listen, me and you both, bro. You could you can argue that even losing Andrew Benintendi actually made this lineup worse. I understand Andrew Benintendi wasn't in the series against the Houston Astros. We didn't have Andrew Benintendi. I get that. But you could argue Andrew Benintendi leaving this team actually makes this lineup worse than what it was to end the season last year.
Sure, absolutely. Andrew was a different hitter than what we're used to, right? Puts the bat in the ball. He gets the line going.
Doesn't strike out.
He doesn't strike out. That's what we need. That's why, honestly, if we had him and DJ in that lineup, maybe it's a little different. Maybe it's a little different.
Pinstripe Chronicle said, attack of the bald heads. Love it. Love it, Tats. Love it, Tats. But my man Jez said, who will be the catcher if Austin Wells is traded? Well, if you look at the Yankees depth chart, the reason why they traded for Ben Rortback is that Ben Rortback is a phenomenal defensive catcher, right? If you look at his Instagram right now, he's been working on his defense ever since November. So he's been putting the work in ever since November on his social media. So I would recommend go check out his social media to go check out his progress. But Ben Rortback was a phenomenal defensive catcher prospect coming up. So the Yankees are banking on that. When it comes to their depth chart, they got Anthony Sigler, right? Who's another switch hitting catcher who actually has speed. I actually saw him when I went to go watch Tampa Tarpons, and he was actually leading off for the Tarpons. He actually has a lot of speed for a catcher. Defensively, he has some stuff to work on, but one thing I can say is that he has a cannon for an arm. A cannon. Like, there was one sequence where the ball went under his glove and hit the backstop, and from one knee, he was able to palm it and throw it to second base for a strike to get the guy out.
Wow. Yeah, see, listen, as far as Austin Wells goes, I don't, even if he's in the organization, I don't think he's going to catch anyway. You know?
He's like, Hector has to pull his beard out instead of his hair. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I used to have a beard. I shaved it off. It'll grow back in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's how mine's is. Yeah, that's how mine's is. I get a haircut every 2 weeks because it just always once you lose all of this, for some reason it grows more here.
Why can't you grow up here? You know?
No, but Austin Wells, I saw him that game that I went to go watch the Tarpons. I caught a foul ball from Jason Dominguez, right? Was able to see Anthony Sigler up close. And then Austin Wells, it was his first game with the Tarpons, and he hit a home run that left George Steinbrenner Field. It left George Steinbrenner Field. So even with Austin Wells, I'm a bit hesitant to wanting to include Austin Wells because I saw him up close and personal. And from the mustache, from the swing, from the swag, he is born to be a Yankee, Austin Wells.
I get it. You know, like I don't want to move him either. But if we did have to get a Reynolds, I would move him for Reynolds. Like I would. Like at that point, it's like then we're not trading anybody away.
I know we're not going to trade anybody. We're not going to trade. I'm not trading Roger Arias because he is fast like the Flash.
Yeah, right. Just make up. Just keep. You know.
Yeah.
But, no Trey Sweetie. No. You know. It's just like I don't know.
But you could twist my arm. No. Let's be realistic.
Sure.
If the Yankees were trying to trade for Brian Reynolds, if you threw in David Bednar into that deal, you can twist my arm to put Jason Dominguez in that deal. I'm sorry to say it, but if we could get back a Brian Reynolds and a David Bednar for that bullpen, I can see myself being willing to trade Jason Dominguez because you're getting David Bednar, who was probably an all-star closer last year. And at the same time, his righty and lefty splits, he pitches better to left-handed batters than he does to right-handed batters, which is weird from a power sinker that he has. But I would make that deal for Bednar in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
My man, Baby Blue.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't. Bednar's good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not. But the thing is, it's like relievers, how long of a shelf life do these guys have? Right? And how long can they remain consistently effective, consistently good? And then you're telling me that I have to trade Dominguez. I'm getting a very good arm in Bednar. There's no doubt about that. And I'm getting Reynolds too. Okay. There's no, that's good, but it's just I'm moving a guy in Dominguez for Reynolds, who good ball player, not great, good ball player, strikes out a lot. We've gone over this. Defense fell off. I don't know what the heck happened. And then we're bringing in a Bednar who would make our bullpen freaking even more dominant. But it's just like, how good is this guy going to be for the foreseeable future? I don't know.
I don't know either, bro. But I'm looking at this like this, right? With the roster that we have, with Judge and Rizzo, and the actual core of this team, with Garrett Cole and now Carlos Rodon, the window to win with these guys is probably 3 seasons. 3 to 4 seasons to get the most out of our core guys that we have right now. So if it comes down to the 4 years, is Jason Dominguez going to come up and make a big impact in 4 years? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But what I do know is a proven commodity in both a Bednar and a Jason and a Brian Reynolds, right? And they could actually help us over the next 3 to 4 seasons. When it comes to Brian Reynolds, I understand he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, no protection. Put him in this lineup to lead off, batting in front of Judge. He'll have a fastball machine every at bat.
There's only one way where I would move Dominguez for Reynolds. Only one way is if you could bring Reynolds here and we sign him to an extension.
Yeah,
we could lock him up as soon as possible. Give him what he wants. Who cares? invest beyond these 3 years, and then I'll be okay with it.
Well,
That's when I can live with it.
according to MLB trade rumors, I guess he was requesting 120 million for an extension. And the Pirates, they offered him basically the same that they offered Brian Hayes, which was like 80 million or 90 million, something like that. So that fall off of what they
million,
50 million. So I just want to shout out the chat real quick. My man Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Jacob, what it do, baby? My man Robert Velez. Robert, I see you. Jacob says, what up, boys? Bednar will be incredible. Joe, we also have Spencer coming through. If they feel like Spencer is our center fielder of the future, then you would trade Jason. Listen, if Spencer Jones climbs up the system like myself and Joe was talking about a little while ago, who knows? Because the way that he shot out the system, and Pete and I broke this down, Spencer Jones was a steal of the draft. The only reason he fell to the Yankees was because he had Tommy John surgery and missed a big portion of the season. Right? If he didn't have that surgery and if he was still a two-way player, a lot of scouts were saying Spencer Jones would have went in the top 5. So that right there was a steal for the Yankees and Spencer Jones. And these are the type of moves you need to put your team ahead of everyone else. If you're the Yankees and you're constantly drafting between 25 and 30, right, or 22 and 30, then these are the type of moves that you need to make. These are the type of gems you need to find in the draft for your system.
Yeah, and I think Spencer Jones is actually rated higher than Dominguez
right now. He's third in the system.
Dude, that's wild.
The scout, everybody compares him to Judge because of the height, and actually the batting stance looks very similar to Aaron Judge. But what a lot of the scouts are saying is that at this stage right now, Spencer Jones more advanced than what Aaron Judge was at this stage. Aaron Judge was 3 years he played at Fresno State. Yeah. Spencer Jones, if I'm not mistaken, played 1 year at Vanderbilt.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, 1 year with one 1 year at Vanderbilt with 1 year being injured because of the injury. So 2 years college, but he only played 1. So when it comes to Spencer Jones, he is more advanced at this stage of both of their careers than what Aaron Judge was when he got drafted by the Yankees.
Imagine having 2 of them, Spencer Jones and Judge, having 2 of them, 2 of the same player.
That's like if you remember when the Minnesota Twins had Johan Santana and they brought up Francisco Liriano for a couple of seasons. Oh my God.
Johan, man, wait, I used to have nightmares that the Twins traded Johan to Boston. I would have nightmares. I would wake up and say, oh no, why did we lose out on Johan? I was ready to move Phil Hughes for him, Jabba Chamberlain, Ian Kennedy. I was ready to move the farm for Johan. What a good pitcher, man.
The biggest miss that the Yankees had when it comes to potential trades was that offseason. I think it was 2007 when A-Rod opted out of his contract, right? In the playoffs, 2007. They had a deal set up with the Florida Marlins, right, at the time to get Miguel Cabrera, Dontrelle Willis, and Mike Lowe, right? They didn't want to give up Phil Hughes or Jabba Chamberlain in order to make that happen. If we could go back in a time machine right now, you and I will both be in a time machine convincing them to make that deal for Miguel, because it was basically eating Mike Lowe's contract because nobody wanted Mike Lowe. That's why the Red Sox got Mike Lowe, because they got Josh Beckett, but Mike Lowe was included in the deal just because of his contract, right? So if the Yankees were able to get Miguel Cabrera, put him at first base, Mike Lowe at third base, yes, Dontrelle Willis wound up being whatever he turned into, that would have been a team to watch with Miguel Cabrera over the years.
Miguel Cabrera on the friggin' Yankees, man.
That would have been
340 dingers, not on. And Lowell, by the way, Mike Lowell was actually a former Yankee prospect.
Same, yeah.
He was a former Yankee prospect, so it would have been a cool trade to happen. But listen, but at the time, though, I loved Phil Hughes too. I think I was a junior or a sophomore in high school. I loved Phil Hughes, and he was okay. I think he won 18 games one year, won 16 games another year for the Yankees. He was all right, but he wasn't a stud. And I'm trading that every day, twice on Sunday, for an all-time great in Cabrera. Mike Lowell.
I was a senior in high school when the start of 2007 of that season, and I remember watching every spring training game because you had Phil Hughes, Jabba Chamberlain, Ian Kennedy, the next big three pitching prospects. They were comparing Ian Kennedy to Mark Pryor because of his pitching mechanics and stuff. That turned out to be a dud. And it seemed like the Yankees always had that. They would build prospects up and they would never come through. You remember the big three? You remember Betances, Andrew Breckman, and Manny Benuelos? Those were another big three prospects that was supposed to be.
Breckman, holy crap. I forgot about him. Benuelos, of course. Betances, of course. The Killer Bees, right?
The Killer Bees, yes.
Yeah, my gosh.
That's why I'm saying this crop of prospects that we have coming up has been the best group of prospects that Cashman has had in his entire tenure under him as a Yankees exec. This is the biggest. The baby bombers from a few years ago when we had Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar, Gary said we traded for Gleyber Torres. Right, that was a prospect that we traded for. Luke Voigt is a guy that we traded for from the St. Louis Cardinals. Right, so a lot of the prospects that we built up back then, we trade Justice Sheffield. We traded for Sheffield. Right, so a lot of the prospects that were highly touted, we traded for. We drafted and developed this next group of prospects. So this is different.
Yeah, no, dude, it is, and I agree that. I agree, but like,
oh God, Brian Taylor. You remember Brian Taylor?
Brian Taylor, my God, yeah.
Oh,
but Phil Hughes though to this day kind of breaks my heart because I was big on him. I was like, he's the next Roger Clemens. Watch out, Dad. Phil Hughes is gonna be the man. And he
never turned it. But in 2007, you remember when he was first called up, he had like a no-hitter against the Texas Rangers going into like the 7th inning, and then he got hurt.
Bro. I was watching that game in my room. I was just playing some MVP baseball, 2005. I was playing
Oh my God.
I love that game. Best baseball game of all time. Turn the Yankees on, and then all of a sudden Hughes is tossing a no-no. I'm like, oh my God, this is my guy. And he gets hurt.
MVP Baseball 2005, that's what started my crazy fan, because I was a fan before, but it started my crazy fandom with baseball. MVP Baseball 2005, it's what led to me knowing every player on every team, every coach on every team, every exec on every team, because you had the executive mode. You were able to go in and sell hot dogs and pretzels and owner mode. Yeah, MVP Baseball was the best.
Dude, I love MVP, man. I could talk games all day, bro.
Same. But Joe, before we dip out, just because we're coming about that time, 11:56. Let me shout out the chat real quick. 19 Con-Man was in the building. He said facts, heck. MVP Baseball 2005. My man Blue Gold, baby Blue. I see you, brother. TC Stills is in the building. My man TC Stills, Jonathan, he said A-Rod wouldn't have been re-signed. No, we would have avoided that entire A-Rod circus that wind up being the last 4 to 5 seasons of his career. We'd have avoided that circus. Mike Francesa would have never looked like a liar on national TV when he brought A-Rod on the show. Yeah. You know, we could avoid it. There's a multiverse, but Mike Francesa is still respectable in the sports world. It's out there somewhere. But Joe, before we dip out of here, brother, any last words closing it out for the people?
No, just thank you for having me, man. I had a blast. Invite me on again. I'll come back.
Oh, you already know it's an open door policy. Anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome to, brother.
Yeah, but invite me, because I can't invite myself. It's just how I
got you. I got you.
I appreciate you, brother. I had a blast, man. I had a blast.
Same, Joe. Like I said, guys, if you guys aren't following The Shift, what are you doing with your lives? Make sure you follow my man Joe from The Shift. And I appreciate you, Joe, for joining with me, because like I said, you was one of the ones that I was looking up to, bro. You was one of the ones that I looked to for inspiration. So yourself, Pete, Jason, Derek, you guys are phenomenal. You guys are all mentions.
Thanks, Hector. Thank you, man.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Later, baby.
Brother. Yep.
Baby, please. Yeah, guys, if you guys can, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, right? Because if you aren't following us, what are you doing? Shout out to everybody that's in the chat that's a loyal subscriber. Like I said, my man Blue Gold, he's loyal. He's there every day. TC Stills, I appreciate you, brother. He said, Hector, keep up the great work. You my guy. No, you my guy, my man. And guys, before we dip out, right? My man Halal, happy birthday to my guy Halal. Before we go, I want to play Halal's hot take, because why not? It's his birthday, and we got to play Halal's hot take before we dip out. So like always, listen to this hot take and make sure whatever you guys think about the hot take, comment in the comment section after the video. And on Tuesday when we come back, we'll talk about it. But until next time, peace out.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hill's Hot Takes on the Yankees Morning Brew Show. Today, I'm excited to talk about what the Yankees could be potentially looking at come the 2023 MLB trade deadline. I know we're getting a lot of our ahead of ourselves here, but there's two specific players that could be huge factors here, starting with Luis Severino. Luis Severino's coming into his contract here. We know the Yankees have plenty of depth in the rotation, starting with Cole Rodon, followed by Cortez, Severino, Montas. You have Schmidt in there. You've got guys in the minor like Clayton Beater. Tons of depth. Luis Gil, David Garcia, a ton of depth in the minors. Being that this is Luis Severino and Frankie Montas' contract here, it's going to get them to perform a lot better. We saw with Aaron Judge, multiple other players. It's a fact that in their contract year, they're going to perform to a much higher caliber. When it comes to the 2023 MLB trade deadline, if both Severino and Montas, or even one of them, are performing at a top caliber, we can find a way to make a move maybe. Let's start with Severino, for example. This past year, he was 7-3, a 3.18 ERA. He pitched in 9 games, 102 innings, 112 strikeouts, and a 1 whip. So he had a terrific year for a guy coming off of a ton of injuries, and that's definitely something to see. It's important coming into his contract year, as we mentioned, but what can Severino give us in 2023? I'm looking for him to stay healthy and give us same as last year numbers. His numbers last year were definitely not standing off the page, but for his circumstances, they were 100% standing off the page. For us, comparing to Rodon and comparing to Cole, no, they weren't shocking numbers, but for Severino's standpoint, they definitely were. And if we can just get good Severino and have him as trade bait come the 2023 MLB trade deadline. Even if we're in great shape for a World Series spot, we can use some of our young guys, and that's something we need. Talk about Frankie Montas. He is right now can only take the train up because he is at the lowest possible level he possibly can be. I think we can all agree on that. Coming off a terrible second half of the season with the Yankees after being traded there in a blockbuster deal. And now he really has to rebound. He was 5-12, 4.05 ERA. 144.1 innings pitched and 142 strikeouts. Undoubtedly, he definitely was injured to the second half of the season, and that's some excuses Yankee fans will make, and I'm going to use that one as well, because I don't know, maybe he was injured. I want to take the benefit of the doubt with Montas and see what he can give us, because I think, remember, he's an ace. He was the ace for the Oakland Athletics, and when he comes back, I'm excited to see what he can bring us to the table in 2023, because having an ace as our 5-starter is just ridiculous. Nobody's going to disagree with having Frankie Montas as your number 5 starter and Luis Severino as your 4th starter. Tell me, come the 2023 MLB trade deadline, one of these guys, if they're performing, I think will be traded to make room for a guy, young guys. You're getting a win-win situation here. You're being able to get a good players back, good position players, maybe good prospects back in the trade. You're taking one of these guys off the books. Obviously, that's not ideal. But then you get to bring in one of your minor league talents in the starting pitching. And we know the Yankees have gotten a lot of flack for not using their players in the minors like the Atlanta Braves do. So this is a perfect opportunity. Let me know what you guys think. Hector, back to you.
My man Halal, couldn't argue with anything that you just said. But like always, tune in Tuesday. Whatever you guys think about Halal's hot take, put it in the comment section after the video. And like always, peace out.
Round into third. There's one. There's two.